Big things have been happening lately in WWE, and one of the most talked about stories is Bronson Reed's blossoming relationship with Paul Heyman. The Australian powerhouse has recently spoken out about how teaming up with Heyman isn't just a good career move, it's a dream realized. In this article, we'll dive into Reed's journey with Heyman, what it means for his character and career, and how this alliance might shape his future in WWE. Who is Bronson Reed, and how did we get here? Bronson Reed, also known as the Auszilla, has been around for several years in WWE. He first made waves in NXT, showing off his athleticism, size, and in-ring ability. Reed has also had some setbacks, injuries and periods outside the spotlight, but he's steadily worked his way back, sharpening his character and making fans pay attention. In 2025, Reed became part of The Vision, a high-profile faction on WWE RAW. The Vision includes Seth Rollins' leader, Braun Breaker, and now Bronson Reed, with Paul Heyman serving as their manager. This alliance signals WWE's intent to elevate Reed even further. The Dream: Reed's admiration for ECW and Paul Heyman. One of the key things Reed has shared in interviews is how he was a big fan of ECW growing up. For many wrestlers, Heyman is tied deeply to the legacy of ECW, its energy, its rules-breaking culture, its promos. Reed says that, if you had asked him 5 years ago who he'd want managing him, Paul Heyman would have been his answer. That's not flattery, it's a reflection of how much Reed respects the man who's guided careers like Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, and others. For Reed, having someone with Heyman's history and experience in his corner isn't just about having someone help with things like promos or strategy, it's significant on a personal level. It's about realizing something that as a kid or as a fan he looked up to. What Heyman brings to the table. Reed has been very clear about what he's gaining by working with Heyman. Here are the main elements. 1. Character work and promos. Heyman is well known for being one of the best to ever do promos, his ability to speak, to persuade, to generate heat or reaction. Reed says Heyman helps him craft the way he comes across, to make Reed seem more believable, more imposing, more than just the big guy. 2. In-ring presentation. Being a big man wrestler comes with certain expectations, slow moves, power spots, etc. Reed claims that Heyman is pushing him to use his size differently, to present himself in the ring in a more dynamic, memorable way, things that help him stand out. 3. Confidence and validation. One of the subtler, but deeply important effects of Heyman's mentorship has been giving Reed confidence. Reed has said that Heyman's belief in him or affirmation, that he deserves to be where he is, lifts him up. It helps him mentally prepare for big matches and big moments. 4. Being part of something larger, The Vision. Joining the Vision faction gives Reed exposure, massive televised segments, high-stakes storylines, interactions with top stars, and more creative opportunity. Instead of being a solo competitor with long stretches alone, aligning with Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and being managed by Heyman places him in the main event conversation. The reveal: on-screen, behind the scenes. Interestingly, Reed says the decision to put him in this role with Heyman on screen was more last-minute than some fans may realize. In interviews, notably on the Battleground podcast, Reed explained that the creative team informed him just days before that he would be appearing on screen with Heyman as part of The Vision. He was recovering from a serious injury and had been working off-camera with Heyman already, developing promos, character ideas, but had no guarantee until very close to the reveal. This speaks to something very WWE in nature. Things can change fast, and opportunity needs to be ready for you when the window opens. Reed seems to have been ready, and excited. Recent matches and spotlight moments. Reed's alliance with Heyman and The Vision has already produced payoffs. One of the big ones was his high-profile feuds and matches. For example, Reed had a memorable match against Roman Reigns at Clash in Paris. Although he didn't win, the aftermath, where Reigns was stretchered out, gave Reed major heat as a believable threat. Looking ahead, Reed has a match scheduled against Reigns under an Australian street fight stipulation at Crown Jewel in Perth. This kind of match gives more leeway for brutality, showmanship, and storytelling, favoring Reed's strengths, especially in front of a home region. These moments are not just flash, they are narrative benchmarks that reinforce why working with Heyman is meaningful. Being in high-visibility situations validates the trust WWE and Heyman are placing in Reed. Challenges, perceptions and embracing the role. While the upside is real, Reed admits there are challenges. For one, when you align with Heyman, and especially when you join a faction with established stars like Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, fans may question your place. Some might say, why is this guy in this group? Or compare him to others who have held similar roles. Reed's response has been to embrace the storytelling, keeping enemies close, working hard, showing in the ring that he belongs. The risk is higher, but so is the reward. Another factor is physical readiness. Reed's recent injury history meant he had to be sure he was healed enough to perform at a high level. Returning well matters because mistakes at this level get magnified. Heyman's input helps here, too, not just in promos, but in pacing, match structure, character work, ensuring Reed shows his full potential without overexposing or misplaying spots. Reed has said Heyman is helping shape the way Reed uses his size, and how to carry himself in big matches. What this means for Bronson Reed's future. Given everything, here's how this alliance could shape what's ahead. Main event potential. Reed is already being positioned with Roman Reigns feuds, high-stakes matches, and dramatic match stipulations. If he keeps performing, he could move into full main event status. Promo and character evolution. With Heyman's guidance, his promos and character work are likely to get sharper, more nuanced. This might help him connect with the audience in ways beyond just being a monster in the ring. Merchandising, fan loyalty, spatially, being managed by someone with Heyman's reputation gives more credibility. Fans who respect Heyman will pay attention to the guys he aligns with. Also, having real personality and charisma helps expand audience appeal. Legacy and inspiration. For Reed himself, this isn't just about this moment. He's building a legacy. From an aspiring ECW fan to an established WWE star working with one of his heroes, this is a point in his story he'll look back on. It's inspirational, not just for him, but for many other wrestlers who start small, face setbacks, and keep pushing. Quotes from Bronson Reed. Here are some direct quotes that capture what Reed has said about this dream come true alignment. Honestly, for me, I was a huge wrestling fan and specifically ECW. So it's a bit of a dream come true for me. If I could have asked myself 5 years ago, who would you want to be managing you as a pro wrestler? I would pick Paul Heyman. He is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to this business. Reed also said, Paul Heyman is telling me that I'm a top guy. Paul Heyman is telling me that I deserve to be here. That kind of validation matters, especially as a performer who's had to prove himself multiple times. On being taught how to present himself size-wise and in character, I work a lot with Paul Heyman. How to present myself in the ring. I have always wrestled a certain way for a big man, but there is even more I can do with my size. He's always going for something that is different. His promo work is ridiculous. He's a genius with words, counterpoints and risks. To balance the view, there are some potential pitfalls Reed and WWE will need to navigate. Overexposure. Aligning with a star manager like Heyman can sometimes overshadow the wrestler. Reed must avoid becoming just the guy that Heyman manages. The goal is to be seen and respected on his own merits. Creative stability. WWE creative changes fast. Reed was informed only days before his on-screen alignment. The risk is that plans might shift, storylines get reworked, which could stall momentum. Expectations and scrutiny. Once you're in the vision and associated with Heyman, expectations are high. Fans will expect big promos, memorable performances, perhaps championship runs. Any missteps, bad match, weak promo, are seen more critically. Balancing group versus singles success. Being in a faction often means shared spotlight. Reed will need to find ways to maintain his individual identity even while working with Rollins, Breaker, etc. Ensuring that his own storyline arcs are strong will be important. What fans can expect. Here's what to watch for, going forward, as signs this dream is solidifying. 1. More solo promos with Heyman present. Moments where Heyman cuts a promo backing Reed, helping to elevate Reed's credibility in front of the audience. 2. Big matches and stipulation bouts, as already seen with matches like the one versus Roman Reigns. Reed will likely be put in more high-stakes matches to test his mettle and character growth. 3. Merch and branding pushes. As Reed becomes more established, expect more merch, more marketing, possibly his own distinct identity beyond just the big muscle of the faction. 4. Character depth. Perhaps more storyline elements exploring who Bronson Reed is, what his motivations are, and giving him arcs that let him show different sides: brawler, strategist, leader, etc. 5. Potential title opportunities. Once the foundation is set: promo ability, character work, fan response. Reed could be in line for singles title matches or challenges, especially mid to upper card, and maybe even world title level if things go really well. Conclusion. Bronson Reed calling the opportunity to work with Paul Heyman a dream come true isn't just talk. It reflects a journey of aspiration, struggle, comeback, and growth. For Reed, Heyman embodies something he admired long before he ever stepped through the WWE curtain. Now, with mentorship, confidence, and visibility, Reed is not just being managed, he's being elevated. In the unpredictable world of professional wrestling, moments like this are what fans live for. When passion meets opportunity, when idols become collaborators, and when a wrestler starts bridging the gap from promise to legacy. For Bronson Reed, this phase with Paul Heyman could well be the turning point that defines his career.